Hi everyone, how are you, my dear grade 4 students? I hope that you are all doing well. Now it's time to start with lecture 2 for semester 3. Are you ready? In this lecture, we're going to cover a new phonics lesson, which is read and spell words with R-controlled vowels, AR and OR. We're going to recall the features of expository genre. We are going to retell the important information of a text to make a summary. Also, we will use prefixes as a way to deduce meaning of new words, and you're going to read and understand the lesson animal adaptations. Your resources for this lecture are the exercises in this lecture, the phonics pages 49 and 53, and the reading writing book pages 136 to 143. So first we're going to start with the phonics, then we're going to move to the vocabulary words, poisonous, pounce, predator, vibrations, extraordinary, camouflage, ripples, prey. Then we're going to move to the genre and the prefixes. And at last, we're going to read the lesson and understand it with some comprehension questions. Let's start with our phonics lesson. Here we're going to have some words with R-controlled vowels. A vowel followed with R. Like as example, AR, arc, star, jar, garden. And I have different spelling patterns also like OAR or 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 ORE, like in corn, storm, pour, bore. Okay, let's check over our spelling list. In the spelling list this time we have the words dart, worn. Okay, let's underline them. Dart, worn, morning. All of these words are with R-controlled vowels. A vowel letter followed with R, consonant R. Warp, smart, argue, guard. Stormy, stork, door. Charge, spark, award, core, cord. Fort, carpet, target, backyard, and board. Okay, the words with AR spelling pattern are charge, dart, spark, target, argue, guard, carpet, warp, award, smart, and backyard. The words with OR pattern are clear, stork, morning, cord, warn, stormy, fort. The words with ORE pattern, bore, core, and the words with OOR pattern is the only word, door. So let's have a look over the meanings or pictures to explain the meanings of these words. Dart, this is the dart if you know this game. Okay? Guard is a person who guards or protects someone or a place. Okay, a warp is when something bends, we say there is a warp. Stork, this is the animal, the stork. A cord, you see, this is the cord. Worn, something that you have worn it before, okay, and it gets used, so we say it's worn. A fort, something, let's say, strong. Bore, look at the boy in the picture. He's feeling dull, he's not happy, he's tedious, so he's bored. Okay, he's showing bored. Okay, guys, now it's time to practice. This is page 52 in your practice phonics practice book. An analogy is a statement that compares sets of words. Write the spelling word to complete each analogy below. Okay, for example, in number one, dollar is to bill. Okay, the dollar relates to the bill. So the price relates to what? When you take a price, so you're taking an award. Two, laugh is to cry. Okay, when you laugh, the opposite of laugh is to cry. As agree is to. Since I gave here the opposite of laughs, then I have to give the opposite of agree. The opposite of agree is to argue. Eat is to dine. You eat, you dine. Dine when you have dinner. Okay? As curve is to. When you curve something, you bend it, then there is what? Begin is to end. Begin is the opposite of end. So as excite, what's the opposite of excite? Bore. Powerful is to strong. Yes, powerful, strong. Okay. As a bright student, let's say, for example, is to smart student. Number six, White is to black, opposite of it to each other. White, black, as a new is to, when something is new, the opposite of a new. Let's say you have a new shirt. What's the opposite of a new shirt? A worn shirt. Number 7, jet is to plane. A jet is like a plane, as bullseye is to target. Now write the spelling word that matches each definition below. Here I have the definitions and I have to write its word beside it. The rug is the carpet. The rope is the cord. Area behind a house, area with a grass and flowers and you play in it, it's the backyard. Place for soldiers, okay, is a fort, a strong place which is protected, it is a fort. One who watches, someone who watches or protects something or a place, he is a guard. Rainy, when the weather is rainy, we say it is stormy. Down, okay, we mean morning. Tiny fire, when we have a tiny fire, we have a spark. Sparks of, for example, the fireworks. In an entrance, what do you find in the entrance? The door. Thrown in a game, okay, you throw something in a game. You use it and you throw it. It is the dart. Large bird, it is the stork. The center is the core. Core, you mean center of something, okay? And electricity is for charge. Now it's time to move to our vocabulary words: camouflaged, dribbles, extraordinary, poisonous, pounce, predator, prey, and vibrations. The first word, camouflaged. Something camouflaged is hidden by looking like its surrounding. Okay, when something looks like its surrounding, then it camouflaged and it's hidden. Example, it's hard to see the camouflaged insect because it blends in with the leaf. Here in the picture, if you see that the insect looks like the leaf, maybe some of you would think it's a leaf. No, but it's an insect. It camouflaged here. It hid itself. Dribbles. To dribble is to flow or let flow in small drops. So when the water is falling down in small drops, so it dribbles and it makes a sound. Water dribbles from the leaky faucet all night. Extraordinary. Something extraordinary is very unusual or remarkable. The owl has an extraordinary ability to stare for a long time without blinking. Okay, something extraordinary, something that we cannot usually do it. Poisonous, something poisonous harms or kills by chemical actions. Some wild mushrooms can make you sick because they are poisonous. They have chemical actions that can kill or harm people. So we call them poisonous, as in snakes. Pounce, to pounce is to leap or spring suddenly in attack. Okay? The bobcat likes to pounce on fish in the river. So you suddenly leap or spring or jump into attack. A predator is an animal that lives by hunting other animals for food. So when an animal hunts another animal, so the other animal that dies, we call it, the animal that hunts the other animal, we call it a predator. A leopard is a fierce predator that can catch most animals that it hunts. Prey, an animal that is hunted by another animal is its prey. So the animal that dies is the prey. The Venus flytrap plant traps its prey inside its sticky leaves. Vibrations. Vibrations are rapid motions like movements back and forth or up and down. Eric plucked his guitar strings, causing vibrations as the strings moved quickly back and forth. Okay, guys, now it's time to have some fun with the vocabulary words. Let's circle true or false for each vocabulary and concept. Number 1, cats might try to pounce on mice. True. Corn cobs might be prey for coyotes. False. Corn cobs are not prey. Water often easily dribbles onto a baby's chin. True, because the baby's chin is soft. A bear is a poisonous animal. Does the bear has poison in its glands or in its body? No. People usually consider a shooting star to be an extraordinary sight. True. You might feel vibrations from the ground during an earthquake. Yes, true. A purple frog would be camouflaged in the forest. Purple and in the forest? No, false. 8. Zebras and other animals that eat plants are predators. False, they are not predators. I'm going to leave this crossword activity for you to solve it. Follow the instructions down. For every number you have hints, and then you have to guess the correct word to.
Adaptations. What helps an animal survive? Animals have many useful adaptations. Camouflage is just one adaptation animals might use to survive. Can you see the owl? The desert is a difficult place to survive. Camels have humps that are made of fat and can weigh up to 80 pounds. These humps allow the camel to survive for up to 2 weeks without food. The long snout and sharp claws of an armadillo help it reach a rich food source, ants. And what safer shelter can a turtle have than its own hard shell?
Okay, let's play a short game. Sorry, a short game before we start with our story. Let's try to guess what helps an animal to survive. Let's think about the owl. What helps the owl to survive? Think about it. Pause the video and think about what helps the owl to survive. Camouflage. Camouflage helps the owl to survive. Camouflage is when you do not notice something until you take a closer look at it. Here, the owl takes the shape of the tree, for example, so we cannot notice that there is an owl on the tree. The camel. What about the camel? What helps the camel to survive in the desert? The humps that store fats and water. Okay, you know that camels have humps, and these humps they store fats and water in them, so they help them to survive. Armadillo. Let's see the armadillo. What helps the armadillo survive? The long snout. And the last one, the turtle. What helps the turtle to survive? Her hard shell. So you see, every animal adapts to life through different strategies or ways. Okay, now it's time to start with our story. Animal adaptations. What would you do if you saw a skunk raise his tail? If you knew anything about skunks, you would run in the opposite direction. Skunks have a built in survival system. They can blast a predator with a horrible smelling spray produced by the glands under their tails. The special ways that animals have to survive are called adaptations. These include physical traits such as the skunk's spray and animals with bright colors and markings that warn predators that they are poisonous. Some animals can sense the smallest vibrations in the ground. Others hear sounds from miles away, and an adaptation can also be a behavioral trait. An example of a behavioral trait would be birds that migrate south every winter to avoid harsh temperatures. When a skunk turns and sprays a predator, the foul smelling mist can travel up to 10 feet. So, what is one adaptation a skunk has? Give one example of adaptation as a physical trait and another one for behavioral trait. I'm going to leave these questions for you to answer them during the live session. Staying warm? Brr. Imagine living in a place where the average annual temperature is an extraordinary 10 to 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Welcome to the Arctic tundra of Alaska, Canada, Greenland, and Russia, home of the caribou. To stay warm, caribou have two layers of fur and a thick layer of fat. They also have compact bodies. Only 4 or 5 feet long, caribou can weigh over 500 pounds. The tip of the caribou's nose and mouth is called the muzzle. It's covered in short hair. This hair helps to warm the air before they inhale it into their lungs. It also helps to keep them warm as they push snow aside to find food. More exercises. Describe one physical adaptation that caribou have and describe the caribou's muzzle and how it helps them to survive. When we say physical adaptation, we mean adaptation through their bodies. Pay attention to that. Finding food. Every day, a caribou eats over 6 pounds of lichen. Caribou have unusual stomachs. The stomach's four chambers are designed to digest lichen. It's one of the few foods they can find in the winter. Even so, caribou still have a tough time in the coldest part of winter when their food sources decline. That's why they travel from the tundra to a large forest area, where food is easier to find. When the melting snow dribbles into streams, they know that it's time to return up north. Lichen can grow in extreme temperatures. So, your question for this part, describe one behavioral adaptation that caribou have. Insects in disguise. Look closely at the photo of the tree branch. Can you spot the insect? It is a phasmid. Some phasmids are known as leaf insects or walking sticks. Phasmids look like leaves or twigs. These insects can change colors to really blend in with their surroundings. In this way, they are camouflaged from predators. It's as if they disappear from sight. These insects are nocturnal, which means that they are active at night. This is another adaptation that helps them avoid predators. It's hard to spot these insects in daylight, let alone at night. This phasmid is called a walking stick because it looks like a stick with legs. So, list a physical trait and a behavioral trait a phasmid has. Water, please. In Florida's vast Everglades ecosystem, the dry season is brutal for many plants and animals. Alligators have found a way to survive these dry conditions in the freshwater marshes. They use their feet and snouts to clear dirt from holes in the limestone bedrock. When the ground dries up, the alligators can drink from their water holes. Other species benefit from these water holes too. Plants grow there. Other animals find water to survive the dry season. However, the animals that visit alligator holes become easy prey. The normally motionless alligator may pounce on them without warning. But luckily, alligators eat only a few times each month. Many animals take their chances and revisit the alligator hole when they need water. In the end, it's all about survival. Why do animals revisit the alligator's hole for water even though they might get caught by the alligator? How do porcupines survive in nature? What is the genre of this text and why? Okay, the last skills that we are going to explain in this lecture, first of all, summarization. When we summarize, pay attention to this. We have a text or a paragraph and we want to summarize it. Then we retell it. How do we retell it? We retell only the main ideas, the most important ideas, okay, in your own words, it's okay. So you're making a paragraph or a text shorter by retelling it in your own words. So here, guys, you have to summarize the sections of animal adaptations to help you understand the information more. So we're going to summarize it or summarize the text orally during the live sessions. Then, but you have to copy it on the worksheet as a summary assignment and you have to upload the assignment on the school application. Last thing we have to do is to use the prefixes and context clues to figure out the meanings of the following words in animal adaptations. If you remember before, we covered the prefixes and we said the prefixes are a group of letters together that we add them to the beginning of a certain word that changes the meaning of a word. We have to figure out the meaning of the word unusual, page 138, disappear, page 138 also, and revisit, page 139. Remember that un means not. Re means again, and this means the opposite of. Okay, so please try your best to find the meanings of these words, and we're going to discuss them together during the live session. This is the summarization for the section. For sure, it's not complete. We are going to complete it together during the live sessions, and then you have to copy it and upload it on the application. Guys, thank you for listening. I hope that everything is clear for you now. For more questions, I'm sure that you're going to attend the live sessions because they are very important and we're going to explain everything there in details. Stay safe.